I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And we are back for another video discussing Naughty Dog / The Last of Us Part 3. So, there's been some stuff I've recently missed. There's been little rumblings and hints in regards to what's coming in the near future from Naughty Dog, but the HBO show just wrapped up, so a lot of news has been circulating in the last couple days in regards to the future. Just want to say that show, wow, just what a finale. My only wish is it would have just been a little bit longer, but man, they just hit all the beats of the game, and I'm so much looking forward to Season 2 in about a year or two when that comes, and we'll be covering that on the channel. But now we shift our focus to the present, the video games once again, and what is to come. We know The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is releasing in less than 2 weeks on March 28th. We'll be covering that and doing stuff with that. We also know The Last of Us multiplayer game, the heavily anticipated multiplayer game, the most expansive project, which I haven't made a video on a lot recently. It's been a little while. I'll be making a video in a couple days, I promise that. That's not going to be an exaggeration. I actually will be doing a video on that. And then we also have the potential Last of Us Part 3, which I've been talking about for over 2+ years now, almost 3 years. And Neil Druckman has once again addressed it. I know we continually get these comments from Neil Druckman. One day he's like, oh yeah, outline's written. Yeah, we potentially could see a part 3. Then the next day he's like, well, we have to there's a chance it might not happen. We have to find a story that matches the core of the second game and the first game. So we're gonna pull up this video from Kind of Funny Games. I want to give credit to them for this. They had a spoiler cast after the ending of the HBO show with Neil Druckman, and part 3 was brought up, so we're gonna discuss that, and we've got some confirmation on some stuff, so take a listen. If you guys do enjoy this, drop a like and subscribe. Join about the near 50% of people that are subscribed by hitting the red subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos or shorts covering The Last of Us. Go for 1,000 likes. Hope you enjoy.
Another Last of Us to be another big IP that PlayStation can promote and support in this way?
I am very lucky that I don't have to think like that. That I joined a studio that was already so successful that we could be kind of prima donnas and just do whatever we want. I know not everybody has that privilege, but it's not something I take lightly. So it's like at the end of every project, we purposefully explore several different projects. Some of them might be a sequel, and then a bunch of new ideas. And then we really feel like where do our passions lie? Because that's the fire that has to that has to sustain for years to come. And if you pick the wrong projects and then you burn out from that idea because you weren't that passionate about it 2 years into it on a 4-year project, you're fucked. That's how you, I think, make mediocre anything. If you lose your excitement for it. So. I know the fans really want Last of Us Part 3. I hear about it all the time. And all I could say is that, look, we're already into our next project. So the decision has already been made. I can't say what it is, but that's the process we went through, that there was a lot of consideration of different things, and we picked the thing we were most excited for.
And factions is somewhere in there. Not that I'm fishing. I'm not fishing. I'm just saying we're still getting factions.
The Last of Us multiplayer game is our next big title, and you will hear much more about it later this year, and I'm stoked for it.
Alright, so credit to Kind of Funny Games. Again, I'll throw the link to this spoiler cast where you could check out the full about an hour interview with Neil Druckman. But wow, quite a major statement, don't you think? So Neil Druckman has confirmed that a decision has been made in regards to Part 3, whether it is happening or not at this current point. And he also confirmed that a game is being in the works at Naughty Dog. Not the multiplayer game that we already have known for years that was in development, but another project. And I believe this is Neil Druckmann's big game that he's been saying about for a while, if you look at his Twitter bio. For some reason, a lot of these articles I've read, they've said The Last of Us Part 3 is not happening. It's unconfirmed because of this. But what I'd like to point out is that in this statement, he never denied that this game could potentially be The Last of Us Part 3. All he said is that we have first, when we make our games, we first think of a sequel and then throw out a bunch of other ideas, and then we pick what we're most passionate for. So whatever they have decided on is what they think, instead of going 2 years in and burning out, that we're going to spend 2 to 4 years on and put 100% effort in, not, just lose passion towards the end of it. Naughty Dog has been in this position before with all the Uncharted, around Uncharted 3. They basically had a decision to make. Do we make a new IP or do we continue with Uncharted? What they ended up inevitably doing was they made the new IP, but still did Uncharted afterwards. And this is a possibility that could happen, is that we could still get The Last of Us Part 3, but what may come out first is a new IP. Just like what they did from the Uncharted to The Last of Us, they may do again from The Last of Us to this new IP. There's been a new IP rumor for years that Naughty Dog has supposedly been working on. This, member Strays Cross, codename, new IP, sci-fi, steampunk game, and we've never really gotten to see it yet or heard other stuff other than just the rumblings and rumors. I found it very odd that he mentioned The Last of Us 3 still. He said, "I know the fans really want The Last of Us Part 3. I hear about it all the time, but a decision has been made in regards to our next project." So what can we insinuate from that is that The Last of Us Part 3 has been heavily considered. And if we go based on the past couple months and all the stuff I've talked about, he has flip-flopped a lot on this. And we know from history that Neil Druckmann can fib a bit. He can lie. And again, I don't blame him for that, because at the end of the day, if this is Part 3, he doesn't want to just make it known that, yes, this is The Last of Us Part 3. I mean, we literally have gotten statements from him saying, oh yeah, the outline, remember, I just mentioned this earlier in the video, the outline had been written. Then he says, like, oh yeah, we need to find a story that matches the core of the first and second game. But then we get tweets like this that state if there is a future Last of Us game, that Neil Druckmann will apply elements from the show. If we ever revisit them in game form, which remains to be seen, there are definitely elements that I'm going to take from the series that would apply to the games. Why does he keep mentioning the games? I just find it very, very odd that this continues to be a thing. So, the question really, Marks, is what do you think they're going to do, guys? Do you think, because it's one of two things, let's be honest. I mean, Uncharted, they've confirmed, is done, so you're not going to see Uncharted. Jak and Daxter, very, very unlikely. I don't really see it happening, so you can pretty much cross that out. It's either going to be Part 3 or the new IP. One of the two, because whatever one we get first, we'll get the other later, because I feel if it's going to be a new IP, we're going to get Part 3 afterwards. If we get Part 3, we're going to get a new IP afterwards. So it's one of the two. Definitely, though, based on the past and what I've seen, it is very likely to be Part 3, I think. I think there's enough want from the fan base, and I believe there's enough passion, because, again, Naughty Dog is, I'm not saying they should become a one-game studio, but I feel like The Last of Us Part 3 would be the end of at least Joel and Ellie's journey, and then break into a new IP afterwards. And remember the show. The show is a definite factor of this. If you don't think they're planning potentially a third game to cover with the show, especially now that they're covering Part 2, and it's likely going to be, now it's confirmed, over 2 seasons at least, the minimum, I definitely don't see why they wouldn't do a Part 3 and then make future seasons on that. But again, maybe they'll just release it really later, then eventually make HBO show seasons covering that stuff. But the want is there. Like, no doubt the show has propelled the popularity of The Last of Us IP to an exponential level. And Neil Druckmann even kind of talked about this in the Solarcast, basically saying, how there kind of was a cloud over The Last of Us after Part 2, and it's kind of been lifted to some degree. Even though there was universal praise for Part 2, it has definitely made it much more positive, I'd have to say, than what it had been. So, remember, I talked about ViewerAnon. Very credible source. He was right about pretty much everything with the TV series. Had said that The Last of Us Part 3 is in production. It's Dr. Uckman's next game. So many other leaks that have hinted at this. So, if I'm willing to guess right now, based on the popularity of the Last of Us IP and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if this is part 3. It's my guess right now. But I'm not going to complain if it's a new IP. Yes, I'll be disappointed, don't get me wrong, because I do really want another Last of Us. But I think a new IP will do great, and I think it could potentially be better than The Last of Us, potentially depending on what they do. But we shall see on that. So, we have a game coming from Naughty Dog. I don't know what it is, but the decision has been made, and we will only have to wait until it is revealed to officially find out if it is the long-awaited Last of Us Part 3 or that new IP that we've been clamoring for years now. So, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, drop a like and subscribe. I'll have another video covering the Last of Us multiplayer game in a couple days, so stay tuned for that. And also, my Last of Us Part 2 permanent streams are returning this upcoming weekend. So, we are getting ready for the Last of Us Part 1 on PC, so I hope to see you guys there. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace and love. Let's go for 1,000 likes again. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.